You don't have to leave, you guys. I don't take up that much space. Okay, so a couple of things I noticed. With respect to council and councillors, if they wanted to be up here on the stage, they could have held a meeting, right? This is a public meeting. I've organised it. It's my meeting. I get the last word. You've had 9 years to organise a public meeting about this topic, and you didn't. Now, Chris, you made some really good points, and one of your points that I really liked was about failure of monitoring, and that what you can recognise is that the council now they've heard from the community, they're going to put in a whole heap of conditions and really be stringent around those rules. And I've got a folder here, it's full of rules, it's full of conditions that are in a consent. Many of them went to an independent hearings commission, and they were, I thought, watertight legal conditions, and you guys ignored them all, so well done to that. And that tells me how much weight we can put behind your conditions. So I've heard those promises before, Chris, and I've been listening to them and to that rhetoric for a long time, and I'm tired of it, and this is why we're here. The other thing that I heard was that I heard 3 apologies, and I really like that, because I don't know about you, but when I make a mistake, and I make a lot of mistakes because I'm human, when I make a mistake, I apologise. And I've heard 3 apologies in this room tonight, and they came from Gabriel, thank you, from Trevor, we've gone, yeah. Thank you, and from Campbell. Apologies from people who say, and I'll paraphrase a little bit, we dropped the ball, we missed it, we were asleep at the wheel. And you know what? This community deserves those apologies. I didn't hear them from anyone else. I do want to just point out there's a wonderful process called an independent hearing, okay? And there's a person who's independent and they run it. And the great thing about them is this wonderful word, independent, blah, blah, blah. So after the 2011 consents were not adhered to, I picked up the phone, because I'm a Kiwi and that's what we do, and I rang the independent hearings. His name's Alice Orban. And I said, hi Alistair, you've not met me, but you'll be interested to hear I'm a resident of Coast Road and you were the Independent Hearings Commissioner on a consent that was heard at a hearing in 2011. He remembered it well. And I said, you might be interested to know that clean fill is still in operation. And there's been a 10-year extension put on it, and council are readying up to increase the size of it. What did he say, do you reckon, Wainui? The first words out of his mouth were, I can't talk to you. And what I love about that sentence is it tells us how independent those independent hearings commissioners are. Because who paid for him? Who pays his wages? Who does he depend on for work? Not me. City Council. So that tells you how independent they are. I've done some investigations of my own, and I found out that, and listen to this number, you'll be excited. I was excited when I found it. 98% of consents that go to independent hearings are approved. So do we think that maybe this is signed, sealed and delivered? And do we think maybe that that's what the council were counting on? Remember, this was non-notified. We're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to know. Do you think maybe council just assumed that this was going to happen? Do you think maybe they made promises to developers that there was an inexpensive clean fill in Wainui that they could use? I don't know. That's a question. So one of the things I heard about the investigations of a new site, well, you've had 9 years. It was supposed to operate for 6 years, so you've had 9 years to find a new site. Doesn't sound like you found one. That's not Wainuiomata's problem. That's council's problem. I don't pay rates to then find sites myself for new clean fills. I pay rates to pay the council to take care of town planning. That's your job. We asked you at a meeting, Joe and Ray, to withdraw this application. We got some great rhetoric about whether they can or can't. They can. Well, maybe they will after this meeting, I don't know. The wheel wash, that's a really interesting one. I know, everyone's giggling already. You guys, the operated from 2010 to 2017. What year did the wheel wash go in? Oh, I feel like we're playing a game. Yes. You got it in one. Give this woman a car. Yeah. And you know why it went in? Because that lady standing on the wall against there, she rang the council and she said, I'm tired of this. What's going on? This road is filthy every day. And she started it. She said, it is still filthy. Exactly. Thank you. She said, it does. One of the consent conditions is that they will not put sediment on that road. And so 2018, they put in a wheel wash. Does it break down? Yeah, all the time. And actually, they have an option to bypass it. That's my favourite thing about this clean fill. So it's optional. Okay, so I have a folder of assurances. They've not been met. Why apply for things? Why put numbers that mean nothing? Why waste your time, your consultant's time, and our time when we read them? There's been a lot of reading that I've done, so you don't have to, if the facts aren't right the first time. I love Joe's idea of some tours for the clean fill. What do you reckon, Wainui? I think we could start a tourism venture. Come and tour our clean fill. It's awesome. See the stinky liquid waste. It's just slurry. There's nothing wrong with it. Have a drink. We've got some water prepared for you from the slurry. Be great. I would definitely go to that. I'm ex-Wellington Tourism, and so anything to promote this area, I'm right behind it. So sign me up for one of those tours. I'll bring up busloads from the cruise ships. It'll be amazing. I actually think that's all I'm happy to finish there. So tune in for my new tourism business. My new tourism business, Tours of the Unclean Fill. You heard it here first. It's a world first, and you know first. So you can all be shareholders. How does that sound, Wainui? Awesome.
Well, you want me to wrap it up?
Wrap it up, man.
Okay.